Hey everyone, Reverend Suzy Burba here from First Congregational Church in Braintree, and I'm bringing you an edition of Food for the Soul. Today we're coming to you, or I am coming to you from Duxbury Beach and getting to the beach. So the beach is a peninsula, but getting there you can either go through Marshfield and Green Harbor to get to the peninsula, or you can go over this here, Powder Point Bridge. And this bridge is a little bit significant in that it is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the oldest and longest all-wooden bridge in the world. Thing is, it's not quite the oldest anymore. In 1985, there was a fire and they had to rebuild it in 86. So it's no longer the oldest, but it is the longest, and it is 0.42 miles long. So we're going to head over it and get over there to the peninsula, and I'll share a little bit about that. But it's a beautiful day, so come on along and hopefully we can enjoy the beach together. Here I am on the ocean side of the peninsula. It's fairly narrow, so there's the dunes in front of me. Then there's Gurnet Road that extends the length of the beach, which is the full peninsula, is 6 miles long. It's actually the first 4.5 miles that is part of Duxbury. At that point, the 4.5 mile mark, it takes a little turn. The elbow is called Gurnet, and extending out is Saquesh. Gurnet and Saquesh are a part of Plymouth. There are a lot of cottages out there. So the Duxbury Beach portion, in 1919, there is a group of 18 summertime residents of Duxbury that were concerned that their section of the beach would become overdeveloped. So they formed the Duxbury Beach Association, and they bought the beach, the whole 4.5 miles. In 1974, the association transferred ownership of the beach to the Duxbury Beach Reservation. And they are the ones that do all the maintenance here today. And one thing the reservation did, they did a little survey in 2018. They wanted to find out just how much variety there was of life out here, and here's what they found. There are 36 types of plants, 8 species of mammals, and 127 species of birds. 2 of those species are protected under both state and federal law. They're the piping plover and the least tern. But today I'm looking for something different. In the winter time, we can find snowy owls out at this beach. So that is my quest, is to find some of them. And I have a new toy to help me with this that I will show you. Here's my binocular. I find it a little easier than binoculars. And it, with this, attaches to the tripod. Gives me a nice steady view of what I'm looking at, but a little more fun, and this, hopefully, if it all works, will help out for this video. This attaches to the binocular, and then my phone camera attaches so I can catch my image on a photo or video on the phone. So it's a little bit of an experiment. I have worked with it a bit, but the things I'll be looking at today will be a further distance. So let's take a walk, see what we see. Right now we're looking out at the bay side of the beach, and it does show just faintly in the video here, there are a set of 4 windmills out in Kingston that we can see. One thing about when you go out looking for a particular bird, you have no way of knowing if you're really going to see it or not. Other years that I've come out here, I've quickly seen some snowy owls, really generally more than one. This year, unfortunately, that is not the case, and this is my second time out here this year looking. So I do have some images to show you, and to give credit where credit is due, these 4 images have come from the All About Birds website. Our first image is of a male snowy owl. It was taken by Ian Davies. The second image is of a female, taken by Kevin Vendefuse. Third, got an owl in flight by Doug Hitchcox. And fourth was taken by Ed Lee. The snowy owls are here in Massachusetts from November to mid-April. At that point, they head up back to their Arctic home, very far north of the Arctic Circle, in the Nunavut territory of Canada. So they're really quite far up. While they're up there, their diet primarily consists of lemmings. When they're down here, their food sources are much more scarce. They scavenge on whatever they can find, mice, voles, bunnies, skunks, some fish. So their energy sources are really low in the wintertime when they're here. And one of the things that's important to avoid is, because those energy sources are low, you don't want to disturb the owls. Disturbing them can sap their energy so that they don't have quite what they need for hunting, which compromises their health. There's a general rule of thumb that I came across, and it had said when you see an owl, to remain at least 150 feet away from the base of whatever post or structure they're on. If they're on the ground, you want to leave more space. I was actually surprised that space they recommended was as small as it was. In my view, you'd want to keep it even greater. But that's what I came across. There are two things that are different about snowy owls than many of our other owl species. One is that most owls are nocturnal. Snowy owls, that is not really the case. They are diurnal, which means they do a lot of their hunting in the daytime. Second thing is that you really won't find snowy owls perched in a tree. They don't hang out the trees. They're more on the ground or on posts, maybe a rooftop. So they're a little unique in that way. One thing about snowy owls is that the females are larger than the males. Male snowy owls tend to be whiter. If you see a pure white snowy owl, it's definitely a male. Females have more of the dark markings called bars. So the heavier barred owls are females. However, it's a little confusing because there's variation in both the males and the females. So if you see an owl that's sort of midway barred, you really don't have a way of knowing if it's a male or a female. Pure white, definitely a male. Heavily barred, female or juvenile. So that's really the only way you can tell the difference between gender. Generally, the owls weigh about 4 pounds. They are the largest owl in North America, and the females are larger than the males. We do have here in Massachusetts, I mentioned this from the video at Blue Hills, it's through Mass Audubon Society, the Snowy Owl Project. We get owls that migrate down and end up at Logan Airport. It's not a very safe place for them, so they're captured by professionals, banded, given a microchip, and relocated here to Duxbury Beach or at some other area places. That way they're safe and don't interfere with any of the operations of the airport. So I'm going to turn around now and start to walk back. And along the way, I'll stop and do today's spiritual reflection, where owls will, of course, come up in that reflection. In the Bible, owls represent loneliness, desolation, mourning, and even judgment. This probably is the case because in the sort of cleanliness codes or holiness codes, owls are considered to be ritualistically unclean. Likely it is because they are birds of prey. But anyway, when you and I think about what owls represent, wisdom is probably what comes to mind, and I really like this positive twist on it. And in reading about this idea of owls representing wisdom, I came across something from Wild Bird's Joy of Nature website. So I'm going to share this with you. An owl is to the night as an eagle is to the day. Owls are generally a symbol of paranormal wisdom, regal silence, and fierce intelligence. This is because owls are both great thinkers and hunters. They prefer to plan out their strategies instead of using brute force. While some cultures believe owls to be magicians or heralds of death, the white owl symbolizes wisdom and endurance. They say wisdom comes with experience and with age, and I do believe that is true. But also, wisdom comes from God. God is that ultimate source of wisdom. In the Bible, wisdom is personified in the feminine. So actually in Greek, the word for wisdom is Sophia. It's most prominently symbolized this way in the wisdom literature. Kind of makes sense. So I'm going to read from Proverbs chapter 8, verses 1 through 8a. Does not wisdom call, and does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights, beside the way, at the crossroads she takes her stand. Beside the gates in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals she cries out. To you, O people, I call, and my cry is to all that live. O simple ones, learn prudence, acquire intelligence, you who lack it. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right. For my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips, and the words of my mouth are righteous. So I want to encourage you. When you are unsure of what to do, or just have a lingering sense of insecurity, turn to God, turn to Scripture, turn to prayer. This is the ultimate source of wisdom. And there's nothing that we're going through, nothing that we're experiencing that God expects us to go it alone. God designed us as relational people, to be relational with each other and with God. So seek out God's wisdom, seek out Sophia. And whenever you hear of an owl, if you see one or it comes up in conversation, think about these things. May it be a reminder to you to seek out God and to seek out Sophia. So I wish you many blessings. It's been a joy being out here today at Duxbury Beach. I hope you have enjoyed it too. And I look forward to when we meet again. Bye.